Look closely at the natural world, and you'll notice a few bizarre physical quirks. Snakes have forked tongues. Eagles and serpents seem locked in a permanent instinctual war. And if you look to the sky, in Hindu mythology, the sun is driven by a charioteer missing the lower half of his body. Ancient observers viewed these anomalies as the living records of a family feud, permanent physical scars etched into nature by a single bitter dispute. To make sense of the brutal rules governing this mythological animal kingdom, we have to trace these physical traits all the way back to their source, a single rigged bet between two sisters. This family tree maps the feud's origins. A creator god had two daughters, Kadru and Vinata, married to the same ancient sage. Offered a wish, Kadru chose sheer quantity, 1,000 snake sons. Vinata chose absolute quality, 2 sons, vastly more powerful than Kadru's combined. That stark division, 1,000 eggs against exactly 2, created a pressure cooker of psychological tension. It set off an agonizing waiting game as both mothers watched their unhatched eggs, desperate to see whose strategy would pay off first. The law of numbers worked in Kadru's favor. Her 1,000 eggs hatched first, successfully birthing a massive, writhing army of prominent serpents. Staring at her sister's 1,000 children, Vinata was consumed by a toxic mix of anxiety and impatience. Unable to endure the wait any longer, she made a catastrophic error. She forcibly cracked open one of her own 2 eggs. Her interference interrupted the natural incubation. Her first son, Aruna, emerged alive, but his lower body was completely unformed. Furious at being pulled into the world prematurely, Aruna cursed his own mother. He condemned Vinata to become a slave to her rival sister. He left her with a single lifeline. She would only be freed if she could suppress her impatience and allow the second egg to hatch on its own time. This premature birth provides the mythological explanation for the dawn. Aruna ascended to the heavens to become the charioteer of the sun god. He is the glowing light that breaks the horizon, a powerful entity that is eternally incomplete, always arriving just before the full sphere of the sun. With Vinata's curse looming, the sisters eventually spotted a divine, pure white horse emerging from the ocean. They placed a massive bet on the animal's color, agreeing that whoever was wrong would submit to a life of slavery under the other. Kadru knew perfectly well the horse was white. To rake the outcome, she ordered her dark-scaled snake children to shrink down and tightly wrap themselves around the horse's tail, creating the optical illusion of black hair from a distance. Not all of her children wanted to participate in this fraud. For those who refused to cheat, Kadru issued a terrifying punishment, cursing her own offspring to be burned alive in a massive, apocalyptic fire sacrifice in the future. From a distance, Vinata saw the black tail and lost the wager. A single act of cheating secured Kadru her slave, but it guaranteed the eventual execution of her own bloodline. Time passed, and Vinata endured her bondage. Because she finally maintained her patience, her second egg completed its incubation. It cracked open to reveal Garuda, a colossal, fully formed eagle with terrifying power. Seeing his mother enslaved, Garuda demanded to know the price of her freedom. The snakes gave him an impossible ransom. He had to assault the heavens and steal the nectar of immortality from the gods themselves. Garuda launched a one-man war against the divine realm. He physically overpowered the celestial armies, defeated their king, and successfully extracted the golden vessel containing the nectar. He returned to Earth and delivered the ransom, buying his mother's freedom. But Garuda had no intention of letting the snakes live forever. He deliberately placed the nectar on a bed of incredibly sharp kusha grass, giving the gods just enough time to swoop down and snatch the vessel back before the snakes could take a single sip. Realizing the ultimate prize was vanishing before their eyes, the snakes panicked. They aggressively licked the sharp blades of grass, desperate to consume whatever microscopic drops of nectar might have spilled. The razor-sharp grass sliced straight through their flesh. This desperate act of greed gave us the anatomical hallmark of the snake, a tongue permanently split in two, born from the frantic pursuit of unearned immortality. Every physical anomaly in this myth maps perfectly onto the psychological failings of its characters. Vinata's inability to wait directly manifested as a half-formed child. Kadru and her children's trickery and greed resulted in a permanently divided nature, quite literally carved into the split anatomy of the serpent's tongue. Looking at the total ledger, Kadru's strategy was a profound failure. Her jealousy won her a slave for a few years, but the exact mechanism she used to cheat laid the specific groundwork for her children to be incinerated in a future curse. Vinata survived her early mistake. By locking down her anxiety and committing to extreme patience for her second child, she birthed a champion equipped to conquer gods and shatter a generational curse. It leaves us with a stark biological and moral hierarchy. Cutting corners might alter reality for a fleeting moment, but only disciplined, painful patience builds the kind of strength required to win permanent freedom.